Well, hello, friends. Welcome to week 2 of Love Revolution. What I wanted to talk to you about today is meditation. So many of you reached out to me privately saying that you're having such a hard time being still, even if it's just 5 minutes. And, you know, people are asking me, are there any tricks? What can be done? So today I wanted to tell you some reasoning behind meditation. And hopefully, when you understand why we meditate, I'll share with you why I meditate. Hopefully, you will be more enticed, or shall I say, seduced to meditate. And before we jump into the subject, I wanted to share with you an interesting study that has been done on the maids, a group of maids who were cleaning hotels, and their job was very physically intense. So they flipped mattresses and they vacuumed. So it was very physically intense work. So they divided the group of maids into two subgroups. And one group, they told them, hey, oh, and by the way, all of these maids were overweight. They were very like kind of extremely overweight. So they divided them into two subgroups, and they told one group that the work that they're doing is very physically intense work, and it's like an exercise. It's equivalent to exercise. And they said, when you're exercising your body, you're losing weight. It's really great for your cardiovascular system, et cetera, et cetera. So they talked about the benefits of their physically intense work. In the other subgroup, they did nothing. And at the end of I don't remember the particulars of the study, but let's just say a few weeks later, they checked in with both of the subgroups of the maids. And as it turns out, the group that learned about the benefits of being physically active, they lost weight up to like 25% weight loss. Their vitals improved, their cholesterol level went down, et cetera, et cetera. So health wise, physically, they were in a much better place. However, the group that just continued as is, that is, by the way, the only thing that changed. The group that didn't learn about the benefits of being physically active, they remained the same. So why am I telling you the story? The point of the story is, hopefully today, when I tell you about the benefits of meditation, and I'm willing to bet you have never heard of these benefits of meditation. I mean, we all know, that we should meditate, that sitting still is helpful to all of us, it distresses us, et cetera, et cetera. But today, hopefully, I'll give you a new perspective on meditation that will make you want to meditate every single day. I see my husband joined in. Roger, do you want to add anything?
I'm sure you'll do great.
All righty. So it's my turn today to lead the weekly call. So here we go. Let me just start by saying that, I'm going to confess, many of you know me from the old Yoga One days. And for years, we led these programs, 40 Days to Personal Revolution, Love Revolution. Several times a year, we led these programs based on yoga and meditation and personal growth. And I did everything except for the meditation part. And I said things like, well, I'll just practice yoga and that will be my moving meditation. Or I'd say things like, well, I'll just walk the dog. It will be my walking meditation. And all of that is really great. And those are really great for us. However, there is power in sitting still, just sitting still in a meditative state. And to be honest with you, I mean, years later, I now confess that I did not do those types of meditation because I thought it was kind of dumb. I didn't truly understand the benefits of meditation. Versus fast forward to today, I'm just going to say it again. Roger's probably going to roll his eyes. But I wake up at 4 like a freak every day, and I meditate for 2 hours every day, no matter what. So people ask me like, oh, why would you torture yourself? Wake up at 4. Like, what's the point? And hopefully, when I share with you my reasoning, I explain to you the benefits of meditation and how you unlock your superpowers, superhuman powers, supernatural powers through your meditation practice, you too will want to meditate every day. I'm not going to push the 4 a.m. part, but maybe some of you will. And just like that study made on the, that was done on the maids, once you learn why, once you have the knowledge, it will be easier for you to do the practice of it. Okay, let me ask you this question. How many of you believe that on some level, your thoughts affect the way you experience your life? Show me a raise of hands. Okay, so most of you here whose cameras are on some level, you believe that your thoughts create your reality to some degree. Yes? Give me a nod. Yeah. So neuroscience teaches us that on average, we have between 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts in a day. 60 to 80,000 thoughts in a day, an average person. And it also teaches us that 95% of our thoughts today are the same thoughts you had yesterday. So in other words, out of however many thousands of thoughts you have every day, you're thinking the same thoughts over and over. And if your thoughts affect your reality and the way you experience life, what is the conclusion? That your life doesn't change. Are you with me? Give me some jazz hands if you understand what I'm saying. If 95% of your thoughts are the same thoughts that you thought yesterday, your life doesn't change, and your thoughts affect your life does not change. Or I'm kind of going ahead of myself. So if you don't believe me, let me illustrate this point with an example. Let's just say you wake up in the morning, and every day you wake up at the same time. And as soon as your alarm goes off, you reach towards your alarm to turn it off, and you turn it off with the same finger. And then the next thing you do, as you turn off your alarm on your phone, you pick up the phone and you check your text messages, just to remind you of all those people in your life. Some of them you love, some of them you love less. Then you open up your email. Again, you remind yourself, by looking at your email, you remind yourself of the same people in your life and the same problems that you're facing in your life. Then if that's not enough, you open up your WhatsApp. You check that. Then you go to your social media. You open up your Instagram to remind you of all those people in your life that maybe you're feeling a little bit jealous of, or people that you don't like, people that you judge. Then you open up Facebook, etc., etc. Does anybody do that? Maybe not. You don't need to confess. Then you finally get out of bed and you shuffle to the bathroom, and you use the bathroom the same way you always use the bathroom. Then you go and you start brushing your teeth, always starting on your left, then the front, then the right. Then you go downstairs or wherever your kitchen is, you drink coffee out of your favorite cup. You go take a shower in the same way. Are you starting to get the picture? You drive to whatever you drive to work in the same car, the same way, on the same route. You interact with your coworkers exactly the same way you always do. You hurry up and you go home and you eat your dinner. Usually it's the same thing that you eat for dinner. You hurry up and you binge watch Netflix, and then go the same through your evening routine, brush your teeth, wash your face, put on your favorite pajamas, go to bed on the same side of the bed that you always do. You hurry up and you go to bed to hurry up and wake up in the morning and start the same thing over and over again. Are you with me so far? So if you're thinking the same thoughts every single day and you do the same thing every single day, will your life ever change? Probably not. Are you with me? Or like Einstein said, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. This is why, we complain that God is not listening to our prayers. God is not answering our prayers because we're thinking the same thoughts and we're doing the same thing every single day. It's our routine, and our life is therefore never changes. Now, if you, in this first week of Love Revolution, if you followed the guidelines and if you truly meditated for 5 minutes, and I'm not going to ask you whether or not you did it, but if you did, you probably noticed that your mind goes nuts, right? Anybody? Like your mind keeps going past future, past future, past future, past future, past future. It just goes nuts. Several of you reached out and saying, hey, I'm having such a hard time calming down my mind. Now, those 60 to 80,000 thoughts that we have in the day, the problem is we're absolutely unaware of those thoughts. We don't know what thoughts we think. And therefore, we're completely unaware how our thoughts are creating our reality. So what meditation does, it allows us to just, if you like sit still for 5 minutes, you start noticing what your crazy mind is doing. Which if you have done it for 5 minutes this week, it's always going, it's either thinking about the past or it's thinking about the future. And it's thinking about dumb stuff. I mean, I said meditation every day and I know like, what am I going to eat today? What I'm going to wear? And like, who said what? And what am I going to say? And I'm drafting emails that I never send out or forget to send. I mean, just never stopping. If you're with me, give me some jazz hands. So the reason why, like one of the reasons that I ask you to meditate is, first of all, is to become aware of what is going on with your mind. What is going on with your thoughts? So at least you start becoming aware of what is happening between your ears, because whether or not you believe in it, your thoughts do shape your destiny. Your thoughts do shape your reality. So that's reason number one. Now, to go a little bit deeper into this idea, I want to show you a beautiful drawing that I made for you this morning. And do you guys see my drawing? Nod your head if you see it. Okay, great. So this is my drawing, the stick figure with your hands on your hips, like standing in the fullness of your power. This is you. And these squiggly lines at the top. Do you see me moving my cursor at all? Yes? Okay, great. So these squiggly lines at the top, the energy comes to you through the top of your head. And when we are born, let's just say, and if you watch the kids, little children, you see that they're in a full self-expression. Little kids, they believe anything is possible. They believe like they are absolutely unstoppable. Their imagination, what I call their holy imagination, truly is limitless. So when we're born and when we're little children, this electromagnetic field or the energy field around our bodies, it's perfect. We are in perfect balance. We're 100% whole. Now, I'm going to just mention something about the electromagnetic field. Every single organ in your body makes an electromagnetic field. And if your body is healthy, if you're in the fullness of your power, the electromagnetic field is whole, 100% whole. Okay. So you are here truly in the present moment now as a child, right? Nothing exists. You're right here. Now we're also seeing this timeline, or as humans, we experience time as something linear, right? We have future ahead of us. We have past behind us. Now, as we go through life, things happen to us. Somebody hurts our feelings, or we get offended, or somebody makes us cry, or we go through a heartbreak, et cetera, et cetera. And anytime a thing like that happens, some people would call it a wound, some sort of event, each and every one of these events becomes an anchor. It's an anchor. Do you see this arrows putting you into the moment in time? And these anchors are the holes, HOLES, through which you leak energy. So we have all these anchors that anchor us down in time. And these holes or anchors also cause us to leak energy. So as we leak energy, these anchors add on a psychic weight, like some people call it emotional baggage, life experience, so to speak, our resentments, our grudges, our heartbreaks, our unforgiveness, etc., etc. And the psychic weight makes us wait, as in WAIT, wait for us to create our dream life, or what I like calling manifest your dreams into reality. Moreover, if you did any of the meditations this first week, you know that if you sit down to meditate, even for 5 minutes, your mind keeps going from the past to the future, past to the future. In other words, you are never in the present moment. You are never in the generous present moment. And let me tell you, only in the generous present moment can you restore your wholeness. Only in the generous present moment you can restore balance, harmony within your body, to be in the fullness of your power to create whatever it is that you want to create. Moreover, let me just tell you that the way your brain works, this is actually our the way we're wired. This comes from our neuroscience, that whatever happens to us in the past, in a way it predicts, or our brain tries to predict what will happen in the future. So let's say, for example, if you're a kid and you go and you touch a stove and you hurt your hand, your brain automatically registers, oh, if I touch my hand on the stove, it's gonna hurt. I'm gonna hurt myself. So next time you're not gonna go close to that stove. Do you know what I'm saying? So your brain is wired in such a way so that it can protect you from being hurt in the future. It's your survival instinct. So it is wired in such a way on autopilot that it is constantly and automatically predicting your future based on your familiar past. Let me say it another way. Because you're basing your life experience, you're predicting your future. And everybody, people hate the unknown. People hate the change. All of us on some level want to be in control, or we think we have an illusion, a lie, that we are in control of our lives. As a matter of fact, we want to control our lives. We want to predict our lives. But what's happening is we are only capable of predicting our future based on our familiar past. This is the automatic wiring of your brain. In other words, your familiar past equals your predictable future. And 95% of your thoughts are the same thoughts that you thought yesterday. In other words, your life never changes. I just said a lot. Let me just check in with Roger. Did it make sense what I just said?
It makes sense. And what I would say is what you're about to say, another benefit of meditation is it's an opportunity to be in the generous present moment. It's an opportunity, an invitation, such that you can create a future that's
Correct.
not based on the predictable.
Exactly.
Right. So that's why the concept's important, because we will have a tendency subconsciously to have the exact same day tomorrow as we did yesterday, because our brain will create it for us.
Absolutely correct. So let me go back to my beautiful drawing. Can I just get some jazz hands for my stick figure? Yeah. This is 5 years of art school right here, believe it or not. Um, so yes, if you meditated at all last week, you know that unless you do it all the time, it is a very challenging for us to be in the generous present moment. The mind always jumps from past to future, past future, past future, past future, and we're never in the generous present moment, meaning we're giving more energy to our anchors that anchor us down in space and time, adding psychic weight that causes us to wait a long time until our dreams become our reality. Moreover, these anchors, these energy leaks, at some point, my friends, I'm sorry to tell you this, but they absolutely do contribute to illnesses and diseases because you're leaking energy. You are never 100% whole because you have these holes in your electromagnetic field, in your energy field. So that is just a long story to tell you that whenever you are able to access this generous present moment, you truly step into the fullness of your power. In the generous present moment, when you're not thinking past, future, past, future, past, future, when you're just simply here and now, not only are you able to restore balance, this is, I mean, to go a little bit deeper into the neuroscience, whenever you are not thinking, whenever your brain is not thinking, that's when your thinking brain can turn off and your subconscious mind takes over your whole body. Your outer nervous system turns on, and only when your outer nervous system turns on is your body able to heal itself. Now, we are all born with our innate ability to heal and restore our bodies. And it can only happen when your frontal lobe, when your thinking brain chills the F out and something else takes over. Now, take my word for it, or go and read all these books that I've read about spontaneous healing, whatever that is, whether it is anxiety and depression, whether it is the stage 4 cancer, whether it is autoimmune disease, even like some of the hereditary diseases, our body has an ability to experience a spontaneous healing. So the neuroscience of spontaneous healing takes place when we truly connect to the magic of the generous present moment. So that's one reason why to meditate. But let me tell you why I get my butt out of bed at 4:00 in the morning every day. In the generous present moment, when you're not thinking past future, when you're not anchored in time and space or in the experience of your past, trying to predict your predictable future, at some point you are able to tap the fullness of your power, meaning 100% whole. And from that place of wholeness, guess what? You can manifest that shit. You can make the impossible possible. In no time, it happens just like that. Well, I have to talk about the world of quantum now. I wasn't going to talk. Do I talk about it? Dang, how can I not talk about the quantum when I'm talking about manifesting and the power of meditation? Now, I'll make it quick. We perceive this world through our senses. We see it, we touch it, we smell it, we hear it. And because of our senses, we're anchored in this physical world. This physical world operates on the Newtonian laws of physics, which means that for me to move from point A to point B through physical space, it's going to take me some time and it's going to take me energy. The Newtonian law allows us to predict if I were to sit in my car and drive from Austin to Houston, it's going to take me 3 hours. It's going to take me this many gallons of gas. Are you with me? Newtonian law is what allows us to shoot a rocket into the space. But also the Newtonian law is such that if I'm here and my dream is somewhere there, let's just say my dream is to own my dream house. I have to obey by the Newtonian law. I have to save up some money. I get a 30-year mortgage. I have to drive back and forth to work every day to earn X amount of money. It's going to take me 30 years to pay off that house. And I have to work really hard to pay for that dream house. Am I making sense? It's just the laws of physics. Now, in other words, it's always going to take you time and energy to move from point A to point B. It can be distance, as in physical distance from one city to another, but it can also mean in your manifesting abilities to move from where you are to where you want to be in life. The Newtonian laws is this picture here. You're right here, anchored in space and time. That's why it's going to take you time to get wherever you want to go. You're going to have to wait. Now, there is another way. There is another way to manifest that shit, which is through the world of quantum. Now, we are all a part of the quantum field. Dang it, I'm going to have to go into this. Roger, chime in if I'm going too fast. So now, Reinhard, you probably have to chime in as well here if we're going to talk about the atoms. Everything is made out of atoms. And this is where I say that joke. Roger, help me with the joke. Why can you not trust an atom? Come on, why can you not trust an atom? Because they make up everything. Did you forget the line?
I was waiting for you to tell it.
Oh, here's my corny joke. But anyway, atoms make up everything. And on the level of an atom, there is such a thing that is called an observer effect. So at the turn of the century, when last century, the microscope was discovered or whatever, made, what the scientists expected is when they started looking at the atoms and electrons and neurons, they expected them to behave in the same way as the larger things in this world. In other words, they expected them to obey the Newtonian laws of physics. And when they started to look at things on the atom level, they discovered that they no longer are governed by the Newtonian laws of physics. And instead, there is an observer effect, which is when you look at a particle, it's there. You turn your head, the particle is gone. What the heck happens to that particle? This is what is called the observer effect. In other words, this is what the mystics and the yogis have known for millennia, which the Buddhists call interdependent co-arising. Interdependent co-arising is as viewed, so it appears, or as we talked earlier today, your thoughts, my friends, absolutely affect your reality, your experience of life. Interdependent co-arising, the same as observer effect, the same as viewed, so appears, the same as our thoughts, the way we perceive the world influences the way the world is presented to us. Okay, so that's the world of quantum, so to speak. Everything is made out of these particles that are influenced by the observer effect. Let's just put it like that for simplicity. So when you are in a meditation, and this is why I get my butt out of bed. You think I want to get out of bed? It's like cold right now. I want to be under the covers, warm and cozy, snuggling up with my husband. I get out of bed because of this. When you sit in meditation and you turn off your thinking mind and you are no longer connected to your senses, thinking, feeling, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, you connect to the generous present moment. And in the generous present moment, the Newtonian laws no longer apply. You connect to the quantum field. And my friends, In the world of quantum, there is no time and there is no space. In the world of quantum, every single possibility exists. What does it mean? It means that whatever it is that you desire can come to you in no time. It comes quick, it's just a thought away. It comes super quick. So you don't have to work your butt off to pay off that house for 30 years. Somehow, in a miraculous way, things just unfold in such a way that it happens way quicker. Actually, it comes to you in the way that you least expect it. It comes in an unpredictable way. It comes to you as a miracle in a way that you can never predict, in the way that you least expect, because it is the world of unpredictable. In other words, you are no longer connected to your past predictable past, familiar past, trying to predict your predictable future. I'm going to pause right now. Let me just open up for questions. Did I explain it to you in the way that makes sense? Now, I've been marinating in this for several years now. So, there may be a little bit of a disconnect. If you've never heard of these ideas before, it may sound to you like Albina is going crazy right now. It makes no sense. So please ask questions. And I'm happy to recommend some books and some videos and some programs for you if you're interested in learning more. But the bottom line is, meditation is the most powerful way that I know to manifest quickly and effortlessly whatever it is that you desire, whether it is your healing, your perfect body, your perfect health, your perfect partner, your perfect job, your perfect business, your perfect abundance, whatever it is that you desire. Every single possibility exists in the quantum. And in order to access that, my friends, get your butt on a meditation cushion and start in week 2. 10-minute meditation every day, no matter what. And then watch yourself in awe manifest that magic. Okay, questions?
Did you have a question, Roberta?
I do.
Go.
Good.
So, Albina, would you mind sharing what your experience has been with the observer effect versus the bias effect?
Yeah, whatever you believe, like Henry Ford said, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, both you're right. That is, to me, the observer effect. If you believe that you can, whatever, buy a house of your dreams, can just come out of nowhere into your life, it will. But if you don't, it will never appear in your life like that. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like a lot of times people, like, because I'm marinating this like every day, like my dreams are so what people call unrealistic. A lot of times people would come into my life and be like, that's an unrealistic goal. Like, make something more realistic, something that is whatever, something doable. And I'm like, no, people, I reach for the impossible. I reach for things that haven't been done before. I reach for unrealistic goals because I believe that in the world of quantum, anything is possible. And of course, I'm a human. I have my fears come up, all of that. But when I sit on my meditation cushion every single day, my only objective is not to think anything. My only objective, I'll tell you, is to drop into the generous present moment. That is all of my objective. because that is where I connect to the divine, I connect to the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, the unified field, the universe, whatever you want to call it. My only objective is to think nothing or to connect to the generous present moment. Everything else is up to the divine, because anything else will be the predictable. Are you with me? And I want unpredictable. I want the miraculous.
I think you've just summed that up, because I believe anyone that's on this call knows you and Roger both, that you know you are both deep thinkers. You're highly intelligent people. And one of the biggest things that we all struggle with is getting out of our head and getting into our body.
Yeah.
And even through the practice of yoga, and sometimes we hit the mark, and sometimes not so much.
Mm.
And finding those little nuances that Albina, I will use your words, that take that 2 millimeter shift from good to great. How do we get from that place of where we are to where we want to be? And knowing that we're all evolving at any given point in time, and bridging the gap.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I'm here to give you all sorts of tools. And if you looked on
Of
albinarippy.com/meditation,
course.
there are tons of different meditation techniques. I wish I had some sort of magic wand, but let me tell you, my friends, a big part of it is just showing up, is getting your butt on that meditation cushion no matter what. Some days I'm able to drop into that generous present moment with effortless ease, and some days my mind just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But there is no such thing as a bad meditation. The more you do it, the better you become at it. Just like another thing that I always say that I borrowed from Tony Robbins is, if you want the results, you must have the discipline. A
Can I
big
add
part of it is just showing up and having the discipline of doing the work. Yes, Roger.
two observations? One is, and this is just to summarize what you said, the way I understand, the way I visualize the quantum field is that all possibilities and all times are interwoven like a matrix. Like they're woven together, interwoven, stacked on top of each other, all happening simultaneously. The past is happening, the future is happening, and not just one future, but all futures are happening. So somewhere in the quantum field, the you that you're wanting to become is already in existence. And also the predictable one that says that the house is going to take 30 years, etc., is also in existence. And what I think of it is like, of all those paths, when I'm in the generous present moment, I can pull the future that I want to me, instead of I'm being acted upon by my thoughts, my predictable past, right? And and so it's though I get the power of to choose that one thing. It's already there. It's already out there. I'm just pulling it in. Or another way to say it is, I'm allowing myself to open up to it. Because when I'm in my stuckness of how it's always been, I'm not even open to what might be.
Yeah.
Right. So that's two ways of looking at the same thing. And then the second part is, you spoke to it really well, Roberta. How do I get from bing bong, bing bong, bing bong to this drop in? I'm not having any thoughts. And I will say one tool for me that has worked is I let my mind do what it wants to do. And I just sit back. I try to sit back and watch, because you may not be able to control your thoughts. And in fact, trying to control your thoughts can be very frustrating. So instead of trying to control my thoughts, because a thought is pretty neutral, It's a thought. But how we respond to the thought, we can hook into it and give it lots of energy and wrestle with it like a big, marlin on a giant, hook or whatever, and sit there and do this with the thought. Or we can just say, look at that thought, and let's let it go. And then the next thought will arise, and you go, oh, look at that. Like, you don't have to give the thought energy, right? Just like if someone comes up to you and says something, you can choose to engage with it, or you can be like, and so I do, to get myself from lots of thoughts to maybe I have some space to not have a thought. I let my thoughts, I allow them, I watch them. I actually go, interesting, and then I just kind of let it swim along. And so I don't try to wrestle my thoughts. I imagine I step back a little bit and just kind of watch, curious. And then what happens is eventually, because my thoughts aren't getting so much energy, they don't keep coming to me. It's like if I were feeding fish, right? Or the ducks at the pond. If I'm out of bread and I'm not throwing the bread, they go away. But if I'm throwing it, they're going to keep coming, right? So that's one way. I'm sure there's many other ways that Albina could tell you, but I really try, I allow myself not to fight my thoughts. I let them come and go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that insight, Roger. And this is where the different techniques come in handy. And Sandra is asking, are there some guided meditations? I don't know, Sandra, if you had a chance to look on my link that I attached on the website, albinarippy.com. There are lots of meditation, recorded guided meditations that Roger and I both recorded for you guys. And I encourage you to try as many of those as possible. There are tapping meditations. For some people, EFT of tapping is really helpful. So for some people,
I was asking about you in the morning. Is your meditation guided, or you just sit in silence?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes I sit in silence. Sometimes I do guided. Sometimes I do my own meditations, and I'm like, dang, I'm good. So it just depends, and I do mix them up a lot. I try different ones. So it just depends on how I feel on any given day. And many of you have just done the silent retreat with me. We tried different techniques there. I'll tell you, like, to go back to Roberta's question, in my experience, and mind you, I meditate every single day. It takes me 2 full, solid, full meditation days to truly access a generous present moment. That's how, I don't want to say it's hard, but for most of us mere mortals, it's very challenging. And that is why it takes such a long time. We have to wait to manifest our dreams into reality, because we cannot even overcome our own bodies and overcome our own thoughts in order to truly step into being the creator that God made you to be. And let me tell you one more thing. If you experience a miracle, and what I'm talking about, a miracle, when you connect to that quantum field, it just comes to you out of nowhere in the way that you least expect it. But if it happens once, you will never want to stop. You will never want to stop, because there's like, oh, if I manifested this in no time, what else can I manifest? And this is ultimately why I get up and I do this practice every single day, because I'm like in awe. I'm curious, like, what else can I co-create with the divine? Okay, let me open up for any questions. Roger, do you want to talk a little bit about week 2?
Well, I want to say also that a lot of the work in the book is intended to bring the subconscious patterns and our subconscious mind into the conscious, so that then we're in choice. We can't make a choice if we don't know what's happening, right? And so, and if you look at the practices of yoga, they're all tools to bring the subconscious into the conscious, so that then you're now having the what people call mastery is I'm aware of what's going on subconsciously and energetically in my life. And now I am in choice. So a lot of the reading is meant to tune you into, and journaling is meant to tune you into what are my patterns? Where am I anchored, right? Like where am I anchored in the past or in the future? What choices am I making? So, and then what would I like to do next? And that's also meditation, right? In a lot of ways, a lot of meditations are only getting you present to what's going on already, right? Like what's in my body, like what am I feeling, what am I sensing, what kinds of thoughts am I having? And I would say ultimately, when you get when you start to get some mastery over your mind, meaning like you're not trying to tame your mind, you're directing your mind. I like to think of it as like it's wild horses, right? That I'm domesticating and using to go in the direction that I want. Your mind is a beautiful, amazing tool. It's so powerful. It has so much positive potential. And a lot of times our mind is like a wild horse. We can't get it to go in the direction we want. It runs us over. And so the practice of yoga, meditation, reading, journaling, sort of bringing into the present how things are happening, that's you kind of taking the reins, right? And so in a way, now you're working with your mind. Your mind becomes the tool to unlock all these quantum powers. Right? But right now, it's for most of us, and most of the time, it's a pack of wild horses carrying us away to somewhere we don't know. We often are just going with the flow, and and that has like Albina said, it'll just give you the results that if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. So in order to do something different, you have to try something different. And the other thing I would say about the meditation piece is, just like when you walk on a yoga mat for the first time, you'll notice that there's people who can just move so gracefully, and you feel like you're clunking maybe at first, right? You're like clunk, you're like, wow, this is hard. But if you keep at it, right, you become lighter, you become more graceful, you become better at it, you become masterful. And then sometime later, you don't even know how you got there, but it was actually the time that you spent on the mat in those little moments. And so it's the same thing with meditation. At first, it might feel real clunky, and you're like, gosh, I suck at this. And just showing up over and over, there'll be those magical moments that'll be like, wow, suddenly I had a moment where I felt completely 100% present and at ease. And it might just be a flash. And you can start to stretch those moments out. And that's how, then in that space, that's where you can start to create a future that isn't based on the past. Okay, so I'll stop talking.
Amen to that. Let me add just a couple more things about meditation. Jack Canfield said, and I just read one of his books recently, that 1 hour of meditation equals 7 hours of action time. So you can work hard in the Newtonian law governed physical reality for 7 hours, or you can just sit in meditation for 1 hour. And to me, when Roger and I, when we ran our yoga studios, our retreat center, our juice bar, all of that, I learned the hard way. I worked around the clock all the time. We had young children back then. And when I started meditating regularly, that's when I discovered that actually in a meditation, all these fabulous ideas come to me. So I don't have to bust my butt working, trying so hard. I could just have an idea and everything just happens with effortless ease. I just did this training over this weekend. Actually, I'm skipping my training to be with you guys right now. But also another way of saying it is like, this is actually goes to the point, why in the morning? I mean, you can, if you meditate any time of the day, it's already a win. But let me just say a couple of things why I do it in the morning. In the morning, if you just do it in the morning, if you just set aside 10 minutes, it's an opportunity for you to download the divine guidance for that day. You know, if you just start with 10 minutes, being still, know that a force bigger than you will come through you, and it will absolutely guide you to what to do, how to do it, what to say, what not. You will just, this is also a part of co-creation. Now it take, you know, but you have to make that first step. Like that saying goes, you make one step towards God, God takes 100 steps towards you. I mean, that's one, you know, reason why I do it in the morning. But another thing, why 4 o'clock in the morning? Let me just address that one really quickly. You know, I've read for years that yogi said, you know, meditation is best between 3 and 5 in the morning or whatever. And I was like, whatever. Who in the world can get up at 3 o'clock? Are you kidding me? So mind you, I read this in all the yogic books for a very, very long time. Obviously, that was not my leverage. But then I learned about this magical thing in the center of your brain that is called the pineal gland. The pineal gland, that is also known as the antenna to the divine, it is most active between 3 and 5 in the morning or something like that. And that's when it's most active. And that's also when your brain produces the highest amount of melatonin in your body. And there are chemical reactions happening in your brain, in your body, that just help you at that hour to be in that magical state between being fully awake and not yet asleep, when you are literally tuning in your antenna to the divine, and you're able to connect to that guidance that comes from something bigger than you. This is why I do it so early in the morning.
So I want to add to that. It's like the African proverb, you know, when's the best time to plant a tree? The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time to plant a tree is right now. It's the same thing with, like, the best time to do meditation is between 3 and 5. The next best time is whenever you can, right now, right? So it's always, it's, you know, if you have, wherever you can carve the time, do that. And sure, try out 3 to 5 in the morning, right?
That's an advanced skill. So with that in mind, shall we meditate? Let's do a short 5-minute meditation. So make yourself comfortable. By the way, the reason why we do yoga is so that your physical body can actually handle sitting in meditation. Because at first your body hurts, your back hurts, your hips hurt, your knees hurt. But as you do your physical practice, asana practice, you're able to sit in meditation more comfortably. So make yourself comfortable, sit up tall, and close your eyes. And start by exhaling all the breath out of your body. Now take a really slow inhale and notice your breath. Exhale, relax your body. Relax your shoulders, relax your face. Inhale slowly. Feel for filling up your lungs completely with breath. Exhale, relax. Feel the top and the back of your brain. Inhale into those parts of your brain. Exhale, relax your brain. Relax the space behind your eyeballs. Relax the space between the back of your throat and the back of your brain. Feel how good it feels. Take a deep breath into your heart. And exhale, feel the space around your heart soften and relax. Imagine your heart opening up, feeling warm, feeling good with your breath. And as you relax your body, see yourself open up and receive the blessing. The blessing is always here. All that is required is for us to open up and receive the blessing. So as you take a deep, feel-good breath, imagine breathing in grace. Imagine breathing in blessings, favor. And with that grace and favor, feel yourself becoming 100% whole in the fullness of your power. Enjoy it. Savor it. And internally say, thank you, thank you. I love you, thank you. I love you, thank you. And slowly open your eyes. And just know that every time, just like from a yoga practice, you know how like you're in Shavasana in the end, like a version of you dies before you go in Shavasana. That's why it's called a dead man's a corpse pose. And when you open your eyes, you come to a new body, a new life, a new dimension of your life. And like to me, I always consciously choose, this is a life where I get to experience grace and favor, effortless ease. I am in the fullness of my God-given power. I'm a master manifester. The more love I give, the more love I receive. I just imagine it. God gave us holy imagination. Use it, put it to work, and meditate. That's all I have for you guys.
Have a great second week. Let us know how it's going.
Yes, interact with us on that Facebook group. It's in that email. Post something, maybe your challenges, your wins, and let us support each other on this journey. If you allow it, it can completely transform your life for the better. We love you.
Thank
Have
you.
a great Sunday, and we'll see you
Thank
next
you.